Hello, and welcome to this episode of Married to Cinema. I'm Brian.
I'm Whitney.
I love movies.
And I don't.
So, in this edition, we're talking about a very special 2004 film, which, in my opinion, is the masterpiece by Michael Mann. We're talking about Collateral.
We're talking about what was almost the soundtrack to my night-night time because it was boring.
You listen to Audio Slave and Miles Davis in your night time? Damn. That's a good soundtrack.
It was
Audio
boring.
Slave, Miles Davis. It's a great soundtrack all the way through.
If you haven't picked up, I do not care for this one, but we will still discuss in full.
Yes, we have to. I know a lot of people were excited to hear your thoughts because this is one that I know some people were like, this is the first time you've covered a film that's just widely just praised and loved and regarded as a masterpiece. This is the first time it's objectively considered a great film. So they wondered what you would think about this.
Well,
On the way to get there, let's talk a bit about the story for anyone who hasn't seen it or needs a refresher. The film follows Max, played by Jamie Foxx, who's this cab driver who's just, riding along his cab, doing his cab fares while he's trying to make money to pursue his dream of creating this great limousine experience called Island Limos. And one night, it follows him over the course of this night. He hits it off with this one attractive lawyer played by Jada Pinkett Smith, and she gives her his number, and
she gives him her number.
I said it the other way around. You're
It's
right.
okay.
She gives him her number.
We know words.
Yeah, words. What are they? She gives him her number, and he goes about his night, picks up the next fare, almost misses it, but he's like, "Oh no, I'm here. He was just kind of off in his own little land there, and the man he picks up is Tom Cruise. When they get to the stop, he tells him straight up, "I have these stops to make. I'll give you $100 each one, plus an extra 100 if you get me all the way." They make a deal, and he does it. First stop, Max is doing his own thing, just eating his dinner, and a corpse falls on his car. A man falls on his car, and he's taken aback. And
As you are when
Yeah.
corpses fall on your vehicle, yes.
I'd
Taken aback,
imagine you
sure,
were.
as you do. Okay.
And then he gets out of the car, freaked out.
As you do when a corpse falls on your car.
Yes. Anyway, soon realizes that the man he picked up, played by Tom Cruise, Vincent, is a contract killer who all of his stops are to kill different targets that are all part of all these witnesses for this court case. And so Max is left with the moral decision of, how do I stick with this? He can't back out. He tries to, and he can't because Tom Cruise doesn't give him the option. He tells him, "You're already in. So if you refuse to do anything, I will kill you." So he's held hostage as he is deemed the cab driver for this contract killer on his way to complete his job. And that is the general synopsis for the film. We might get into spoilers later on, but
Spoilers from 2000
2004. Did you want to say anything about this film?
Not really.
You didn't want to open with anything?
I don't know.
Okay. Alright,
slow,
I got you.
not even slow burn, just slow. And then when it finally starts, maybe it's because it hits different when you watch it in 2004. But hearing about it and watching it for the first time, remember I was very sheltered and I was not allowed to watch a lot of things. Now I'm like, I don't know, it was okay. The acting was reasonable. I'm not saying the acting was bad, but I'm also not saying it was very interesting. Yeah.
So I love this film. I remember seeing this opening weekend back in 2004 when it came out, and just being blown away and loving it ever since. Getting the DVD when it came out, and it's one I've revisited here and there, but and I've always loved it, always regarded it as a great film, but I hadn't revisited it in a while. So last night was my first time watching the film in years, really, and I'm typically not a Michael Mann film. Like, Heat is like his signature film, but I find Heat overrated. To me, it just doesn't really connect. Like, he has a great strength for like cold disconnect among his characters and just coldness in general with his neo-noir vibe. But to me, it just doesn't really work a lot, especially with Heat, where like we're like granted this like great scene between Pacino and De Niro, but it didn't it just didn't work for me as much necessarily. Whereas Collateral, the cold disconnect enhances the film, and I think it is an absolute masterpiece. Actually, I think that is his best work. I love the film because it's from the opening shot. The opening shot is the change off for Tom Cruise's character Vincent to get his list, and then we juxtapose to Max, the Jamie Foxx character, and I love how they give the Jamie Foxx character depth, and you really care about him in this little time we get to spend with him until he picks up Vincent. Because we understand his dreams, we understand his personality, we get a good feel of who this guy is, and he's a likable guy. He's a very likable guy. You know, he's charismatic, he's honest, he's humble, he's just a good guy with good aspirations that he is trying to achieve, and from there we get this nightmarish journey, and it's a slow burn, and we aren't sure if Max is going to be able to step up or not. Whitney had the issue that it was maybe too.
It was just too slow. It was dragging ass. I mean, was my thought. Like, was like, oh my gosh, it needed to either go one way or the other, and it wasn't. And here's the other thing. I've been thinking about this. We watched this last night. I took some processing time. I realized that I don't think I can take Tom Cruise seriously.
Minority Report?
I don't think I can take Tom Cruise seriously.
Not even in that one.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the problem because he's so ridiculous. He's like he's like the caricature of a man. Like, I don't know. And like I tell you what, Family Guy's Tiny Tom Cruise reoccurring character does not help. Like, he's just the most overrated action-y dude. I don't know. And his hair had like baby powder in it or some mess to make it look like silver, like, ooh, spooky guy, silver hair. I don't know. I was like over it. I was like, this guy's ridiculous.
I think that's interesting because I think Tom Cruise is actually like a really good actor. For the most part, he does your typical like high throttle action movies, like the majority of the Mission Impossibles and other ones like Jack Reacher. And then, you know, in the 80s, he did his like sillier, lighter comedies like Cocktail and Risky Business. And but along the way, he's also done a lot of really good work, and I think he is a really talented actor. And I don't think in any of his films he's really failed, because like a lot of his films, like Edge of Tomorrow or Top Gun, it doesn't require much acting necessarily. But I think when he does get a good script, he gives the best performance you can really expect from it. Collateral being one example, in my opinion, Minority Report being another, and then of course Eyes Wide Shut and Magnolia. I think Tom Cruise is a very good actor personally, and with the slowness of the film, I understand why you think that personally, honey. I think the film is very deliberately paced, and it's like a roller coaster. It slowly picks up and picks up.
My God, when are you gonna hit the hill though? I don't know. I understand the parts. I understand that there were pieces that were supposed to incite interest. I don't know, excitement, whatever. They didn't do that for me. Even the body coming out of the window and hitting the car early on, I'm like,
I have to
Oh
wonder.
boy, here we go. Like, I don't know. It just seemed very like, oh no, he a bad guy. Like,
And I have to wonder if that's
we put
Michael.
that together already.
I have to wonder if that's Michael Mann's direction, because his direction tends to be kind of like gritty with the low lighting,
But I
which
didn't
can be
find
kind
this.
of a downer. Like, it's
I
more
don't-
of a the way he uses it is it's more subconscious, so you don't think about it over the top. But he uses his lighting very low to kind of create the underlying tension.
I think that really disconnected me a little bit too. To be perfectly
Yeah,
honest
that's
with
what I'm
you.
saying. Is I think that was the big disconnect, maybe
Because
like
it just looked dull.
like if it was
Yeah, it
directed by
just-
another filmmaker, maybe it would have worked better. Like if Christopher Nolan would have made this, you would have not been as bored. I won't
Well,
say you would have
and
liked the
then-
film. I will just say you won't be as bored.
The other thing I would say is that the whole thing seemed really like recycled. Like I feel like I've heard this plot line on Law and Order and on Monk and on every crime show. Ooh.
I mean,
Like-
generic shows where
Yeah.
they just execute it without any heart or passion.
Exactly, and they do it in 30 minutes, and this guy
Yeah.
took 2 hours. So
And
that
that
was
took 2
I'm
hours
like-
with heart and passion
I'm like,
to make this
oh,
storyline like incredible. Like it's a neo-noir masterpiece, and Monk and Law and Order, they don't really do the neo-noir well. I'm
just saying there was no
Yeah,
twist
okay.
to this. It was, I don't really care for films that are predictable, and this was
Yeah.
hella predictable, beginning to end.
I didn't think there was anything surprising about the film.
Not at all.
I just think I think the film is brilliantly paced because it's slow and deliberate, but it picks up kind of like a roller coaster as you go. And the performances are great, and the scenes are great, and I think the framing, the cinematography, and the framing of the shots are brilliant, personally.
What are you doing?
So, if you've watched the show long enough, you know that Whitney and I view films differently. I view them from typically the cinephile standpoint, and she views them from just the general moviegoer with her own taste and opinions, naturally.
Your basic bitch viewing versus your, like, avid filmography guy viewing.
Yeah, and I love this film so much. I think it's one of the best thrillers of the 2000s. And I didn't even realize how many people were in it till we were watching it last night. Like, I did not realize Javier Bardem was in this film. And then we were watching it, I'm like, holy shit, that's Javier Bardem. And Jason Statham shows up in the opening scene too, and there are some others, but those are the two noteworthy ones that are uncredited in the film, but they show up. And Michael Mann, like, it's distinctly a Michael Mann film with the look and flow and feel, but to me, it works better than any of his others because the disconnect between the characters is the point. There's a disconnect between this cab driver and this assassin. Whereas others, nothing really fully connects for me. Manhunter is a good movie too. It's a solid mood piece, especially with its 80s feel and vibe. And Thief as well. But Thief has a greater disconnect in characters, in my opinion. Like the Willie Nelson scene, I'm just like...
I just think
It's my
this took
opinion.
itself too seriously.
I think this film hit just right on all cylinders, really. I think this is a great American thriller.
Ooh, alright, so then rate the Great American Thriller.
I'll give it a 9.5. What would you give it?
Jesus. Like a 3? I don't know. Like, if I needed to go to bed,
It's not the greatest disconnect we've ever had between ratings.
and if I needed to go to sleep and, like, I wanted to put on something reasonably predictable and dark to be background, it would be a good filler piece. I don't know, like, and when I say dark, I don't mean, like, suspense, I mean, like, dark. Like, part of the reason I got so bored is it just it's just like you said, the lighting is just dim and horrible.
And I think you get great performances out of all the actors, like especially Jamie Foxx. Like this was kind of his like serious breakout. He got an Oscar nomination for this.
I
and I
have
thought he
to
was
say,
excellent.
although they're two different, completely different roles, and two different time periods in his life, I much preferred him in Baby Driver.
Baby Driver was good too. It's a
It is
completely
different film, completely
Yeah.
different role. However, to me, that would be the best I've ever seen Jamie Foxx. He just absolutely
The best.
out of his.
Wow, interesting.
You know,
Did you ever see Django Unchained?
I did see Django, and but it's been so long. I think I'd have to revisit it. I guess,
Okay.
really, to be fair,
Because that was
because it's been quite some time.
And obviously, his best performance though is arguably Ray.
Okay, Ray's good, but it's not. I don't know. I prefer the Baby Driver.
Right.
Completely just off his
Where
nut.
he plays the opposite of what he plays in
this,
Collateral.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got great versatility, so it's like
Oh yeah,
Jamie
he's
Foxx
impressive.
is great. Just like
He's
give him
impressive.
give Jamie Foxx better work. Like that Robin Hood movie did not work out for him. Give him more good work. Damn it.
So yeah, I'd give it a 3.
Give it a 3. Oh God.
And this movie also helped with my theory that Jada Pinkett Smith is getting better looking with age.
I think she's been equally as beautiful throughout the years. I have nothing else to say.
You know who's the most beautiful
gorgeous.
throughout the years? It's
Gigi.
Is mommy baby.
Cat Gigi.
Sorry.
Yes.
He's gorgeous. Yeah, I don't know. It was okay. It was okay. Don't make me watch it again, though.
You just gave it a 3. You can't say it's okay now. You did not like that movie.
Oh, Gigi's very upset that I did
Yeah.
not like that film. So, yeah, that's...
She's like, Mommy, that's the best Michael Mann film. That was a masterpiece.
Don't you say that.
And it's really good and interesting because it was written by Stuart Beatty, who I believe was one of the writers on the Pirates of the Caribbean films as well. He wrote a lot of studio pictures at that time. Like, I think he was one of the writers on the Pirates films, like I said, and he also wrote a bunch of throwaway thrillers. Like, I think he was a writer on Derailed. Not this. But Derailed with Clive Owen, the Mikhail Hafstrom movie, which I also tend to enjoy. But I think it's just I think the script is a decent script, but I think Michael Mann's direction just works pitch perfectly. Like, I don't think either the writer-director are exceptional in my personal opinion, but I think the two together created magic with this film. And that is my view on Collateral. I love this movie. It is a masterpiece in my eyes, an American masterpiece. Tom Cruise is excellent in it. Jamie Foxx is phenomenal. The supporting cast is great too. Peter Berg, Mark Ruffalo. The one guy who plays the jazz aficionado, I can't remember the name of. Damn it, I can't remember his name.
Well, I'm sure they all thank you for the praise.
I'm sure they are. Right now, they're just up in wherever they live thinking like, man, Brian knows what's up. Collateral's a great movie, and I was damn good in it.
Well, now that we've scooped this under the rug, we don't have to... This is done now.
Leave us the comments what you think about this review.
Everybody hates my opinion, and it's okay.
I still love you, honey.
You have to love me. Alright. This is the bag for Mr. Brian to pick the next movie from my choices this time.
Also, shout out to the score by James Newton Howard. I forgot to mention that. His score is very pulse-pounding and very well conceived.
I don't even remember the score because I was bored.
Oh, yeah. His score, he usually does excellent work, and this is some of his best.
Good job, Sir Isaac Newton.
James Newton Howard.
Don't remember the score because I wasn't paying attention.
He also just scored Terrence Malick's Hidden Life, which is another masterpiece.
Please don't suggest that to anybody. I don't want to watch that.
Don't suggest any Malick film
Please
for
don't
Whitney.
suggest. Please, I don't want to watch that. Please don't make me.
She won't enjoy it, and I can't stand the heartbreak.
So,
So, here we are. I'm picking our next film now.
So far from our film goodie bag game we've watched.
See, we watched White Chicks was your last
The
pick
Incredible
that I
Journey
had.
2.
Yeah,
Or The Incredible Journey.
Homeward Bound, The Incredible
What is it
Journey.
called? Jeez.
It's
The
Homeward
dog
Bound.
movie.
Homeward Bound.
We did White Chicks, we've done Collateral, and now it's your turn, and I'm sure it'll be something you hate. I don't know, there's a couple in there you might like.
Who knows, but we'll see. Alright.
You're displeased, I can tell. Hi.
I'm pretty sure this was the cancer movie, My Sister's Keeper.
Yeah, that was one of my dramas. You said put dramas in there. I liked that movie when it came out. It's a good movie. It's a good book, too.
Alright, guys, so
We're gonna watch a sad shit movie.
I get to watch My Sister's Keeper.
He's upset. What's
Not
worse,
heard good
this
things about this
or
one.
White Chicks? Oh. Whatever.
White Chicks is a cult following. My Sister's Keeper just stays in obscurity of emotional
Whitney,
manipulation.
write down 3 dramas. Whitney, write down 3 comedies.
I'm
Whitney,
just
write
giving-
down 3 whatevers.
I'm just giving my honest response here. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yes, My Sister's Keeper. It's right there.
In my horrible teacher scroll, so.
You guys will... You can't probably see it over the light. You still probably can't see
Don't
it, but
worry about it.
regardless, believe us. It's there. And...
You know, I used to have a copy and an ex-boyfriend took it.
yeah, every movie I used to own that an ex took from me, I regained. I would buy another copy.
Well, that's cute. But anyways, My Sister's Keeper. Next one, we're gonna get a little sad.
Yay! Who was in this movie? Remember it came out, it was like 2007, 2008, I want to say.
Some people, I don't remember their names, actors and actresses.
Okay, I gotta look this up, but I remember it because it's about the 2 sisters and one of them gets cancer, and it just, yeah.
I used to watch this movie, like, on repeat in high school.
Yeah, sounds about right. Alright. Hopefully this winds up being a good movie and not what I am recalling it being from everything I heard and saw about it. So,
We'll see.
Whitney likes it, so there's got to be some merit there.
So, yeah, thank you for...
Thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe, please. Check out my buddy Jay's channel, Jay vs. Horror.
Jay vs. Horror.
He has
There's a spin-off coming from
spin-off.
Regina, Girls
Yep.
Like Horror 2, and I'm excited to watch that. Shout out to Regina. I don't know you, but, like, the guys know each other, and I just feel like some kinship
Yep.
with you. I'll be your friend if you want to be. So,
Yep.
yeah, watch out for that, too.
Yeah, and Whitney might be doing some stuff with Regina, so check out Regina's channel. Jay and I have the Video Nasty Nightmares episode 3 coming up this week, so that'll be exciting. Episode 2 just dropped a few days ago, so check that out on Jay vs. Horror. Like to subscribe our channel, and thank you for tuning into this,
Woohoo!
and get excited for My Sister's Keeper and how I react to that.
All right, guys, thank you.